Friends, it is July the 11th. Can you believe it? We are almost in the middle of the month of July, our 7th month of reading the Bible. It flies. Time really does fly by when you're having fun. And admit it, we are having fun. You know you're having fun. This is fun. Right? You know, there are times when I start to read the day's reading and I trip over the very first verse in the very first passage at the beginning of the day's reading. And that's what happened today in today's reading. I didn't get past, not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name goes all the glory for your unfailing love and faithfulness. Not because you rescued me from that situation. Not because you created all the earth. Not because, fill in the blank. But because of your unfailing love and faithfulness. Really, glory. Glory is kaw-bode. B is pronounced V in Hebrew. Kaw-bode is the honor due to me, Yahweh. Dictionary.com defines it as a source of credit or distinction, high respect, as of worth, merit, or rank, high public esteem, fame, glory. And here's the questions. Here are the two questions that pondered me, that just shook me. Am I a glory stealer or a glory giver? Do I celebrate God or long to be celebrated? A few days ago, I wish I could remember. It was on the 9th when we talked about Joseph's character being tested. And I talked about how until then, sometimes God is testing our character while he is developing us to be ready for our calling. And I said to you, I believe, that there were definitely seasons in the last 20 years of being called into ministry that I know God was shaping my character. I mean, he was bringing me to a place of complete humility in some areas. One, right off the bat, I was so consumed with publishing a book. So consumed with publishing a book. So jealous of those in my ministry circle that were published, and I had been in ministry longer than them, and I can't even mouth to you, I can't even voice to you what my justifications for being jealous and angry and all of that, because it makes me sick. Honestly, it makes me want to gag. But I was teaching a session at She Speaks one year. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember this. The Lord clearly told me through the Spirit, and this was a huge point I made in the teaching. It had something to do with ministry, the lesson. But the point was this. It's not about your book. It is about the book. Talk about getting blindsided. Yes. Talk about getting like a face palm right in your face, like that little thump in the back of your head from the Holy Spirit. You're standing up teaching, and you get this word that says it's not about your book, it is about the book. And something else he taught me in shaping my character and bringing me to this place is he basically forbids me, and I choke on the words if it happens. Honestly, I do. And I've asked him to choke me. I've asked him to gag me on these words. I am not allowed to use my, mine, and I. I'm not allowed to do that. And if I do, and I accidentally say that, I've asked him to gag me, to quicken my spirit to the point where I'm like, and I correct myself immediately. Because I never, ever want to be a glory stealer. Ever. God does not want you and does not want me to be glory stealers. He wants us to be glory givers, giving him all the glory and all the praise and all the honor, because it is all his anyways. There is nothing this person can say or do. There is no accolade or accomplishment that this person could be blessed with that did not first come through the filtered, generous, merciful, graceful hand of God. Never. Wendy, it is not I, me, or my. It is mine. All mine. And don't ever forget it. That's why I pray, God, like, I think it was a car that said, don't give me anything other than what I need. Because I know myself. Myself can't handle it. Because woe is to me if I ever steal anything that belongs to you. Help me to be one that celebrates you but doesn't long to be celebrated. Change any part of my heart that ever wants to be celebrated. God, help me if I ever get to a place where I feel I deserve to be celebrated. We are in danger of putting the welfare of man before the glory of God. And John Trapp says this is the godly man's motto and his daily practice. That's what he said about Psalm 115:1. The godly man or woman says not to us, God, not to us, but to you, all the glory is given for your unfailing love and your faithfulness. You guys know, if you've been around me for years, you know this is one of my favorite books ever, and I'm sorry it's backwards probably, but it is I Am Not, But I Know I Am. Welcome to the Story of God by Louis Giglio. It may be his first book. It's old. In fact, you can't even, unless you order a used copy, you can't even get this hard copy anymore. It's 2005. That's when he released it. It has a much different cover, but it's a stage and it's the story of God. I highly recommend it. I am not is the small I am in the story of the great I am. That's just a little summary, but this is one of my favorite parts, and it fits so well with our lesson. And what does that kind of Christ exalting life look like? In other words, what does this not us, O Lord, but to you, all glory goes, kind of life look like? For starters, being the best at what we do. Leading every strata of every society, being honorable, dependable, walking with humility, treating everyone we encounter along the way the same way Jesus would. And how do we know when we have slipped back into the story of us? We know when we see these telling signs. We live like we're privileged. When I live like I'm privileged, I've lost the plot. In other words, I start acting like I deserve a certain outcome or a higher standard of life. I have failed to strike the fatal blow to self, and I'm living like I actually have rights in this world apart from God. When I am demanding, I've lost the plot. Insisting that God and others meet my needs on my timetable that I see fit. When I act pompous, I've lost the plot. Thinking that I am somebody while only proving that I haven't had a good look at God today. When I crumble under pressure, I have lost the plot, declaring that somehow life rests squarely on my shoulders rather than his. When I start protecting, I have lost the plot, marking turfs as though it were actually mine, and forgetting that everything I have comes from above. When I crave the spotlight, losing sight of the storyline, the one true star, I have lost the plot. And every time I lose the plot, I waste one of life's fleeting chances to make my life truly count by amplifying, or might I say glorifying, his. When I fail to celebrate the success of others who are living for his fame, I have lost the plot, thinking that possibly we're on different teams when actually we share supporting roles in the same story. When I dwell on feelings of being unloved, unnoticed, and insignificant, I have lost the plot, abandoning the miracle of knowing God on a first-name basis. Of all of these privileged, demanding, arrogant, frazzled, turf-protecting, glory-stealing, self-loathing moments are nothing more than a clarion calling, alerting us to the fact that it is time to die again. Reminders that the life of smallness requires a vigilant watch and a constant willingness to strike a fatal blow to the heart of me. But to die to self is to gain on an unfathomable scale, a daily funeral that is nothing more than the doorway to life filled with matchless wonder of all that he is. Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to you. Your name goes all the glory for your unfailing love and faithfulness. Let us not lose the plot. See you next time on Read Through the Word.